Welcome to another episode of Bucket List Coach Web Show, Aviation Style. Well, hello. This is Cindy over at Bucket List Coach Web Show Live, and I'm going to introduce you to Paul in just 1 minute. But make sure you go to Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. And also, you're going to subscribe and comment on this very video, share it to Facebook, and I'll gift you a 5-night stay. If you just subscribe and comment, you'll get gifted a 3-night hotel stay. So a little bit about the show. I'm all about making the most of the dash. So this the day that we're born and the day that we pass away. What are you doing in between that time? On this show, you'll see aviation interviews, places to mark off your food bucket list, your travel bucket list, and your career bucket list. And a big shout out today to National Day Calendar. It's National Artichoke Arts Day. So make sure you go to nationaldaycalendar.com. Also, this show is inspired by Anthony Bourdain. He was a chef and also travel podcaster. So just a big RIP. And he influenced me in so many things as my career as a culinary arts, as a chef, and now as a travel podcaster. So I have my friend Paul Chappie Ward from the museum there in San Diego, the USS Midway Museum. How are you?
Hey, Coach, I'm doing great. Glad to be back on your show. It's a delight.
Well, thank you. Tell your story, how you got into aviation.
Well, I was always involved with some form of aviation or not. I was raised in a little town called Santa Paula, and it had its own little private airport, and it was just a cool place to hang out when you were growing up. And then, as you know, I was involved in civil air patrol, U.S. Air Force Auxiliary for 22 years as a chaplain. Mm-hmm. And then when I retired, Nan and I moved down here to San Diego, and we get to be near the grandbabies, and I get to be on the Midway. So our bucket list is full and not quite complete. There's still a few things we want to do.
Well, let's play this video really quick, and then we'll go into our topic of the day.
Okay.
Right on. Top Gun movie night. Let's talk about it.
Well, Top Gun movie night began with the Midway about 2016. And it's been a yearly event, and it is one of the best events on the Midway. Well, as you know, the Midway is a museum by day and an event center by night. And so at 5 o'clock, the guests leave, and about 6 o'clock, 6:30, the fun begins after hours. Various conferences come on. They hold receptions and all sorts of gatherings. But one of the big things we've got, 4th of July that we do as a museum, Christmas lights. We do the American Patriot Gala. But one of the big and fun events is Top Gun movie night. It's an experience all its own.
Let's talk about that.
Okay, so what happens for me, we moved down here in 2017. And one of the first things we did was we watched the grandbabies one night while Aaron and his lovely wife, our daughter-in-law, Nancy, went to the Midway to see Top Gun. And I went, that's really cool that they would have, Top Gun on an aircraft carrier. Little did I know that a year later, I would be standing on the Midway next to California Tom Cruise Midway Maverick watching Top Gun movies. It is just a splendid thing. And the atmosphere. What happens is at 5:30, people start lining up. They bring their lawn chairs, their blankets, because we don't provide any of the seating except for just the hard deck. So you're on the flight deck, and between 5 and 6:30, the vendors are coming on with all the food. The beverages are being set up, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic. Uh, it's really not a Disney night, but some of the families bring their kids because Top Gun as a movie just transcends generations, and it's just a great place. It's like a giant block party, and there's a DJ, there's all sorts of things going on before the movie. And you can look at some of the aircraft that's on the flight deck. And we've got, like I mentioned, Midway Maverick, California Tom Cruise, Jerome LeBlanc, he's there. Viper, retired Admiral Pete Pettigrew, he's there. And you're talking with them and getting autographs. And it's just, what can I say, but just a fun place. And then, the hours are coming on, it's still daylight, and there's nothing like sunset. And about 8 o'clock, you'll hear this. I got it queued up.
Okay.
And you hear this music. It's just electrifying, because there is nothing like Top Gun on the USS Midway.
Wow.
So what happens is tickets go on sale next Wednesday at noon, March the 23rd. And you need to go to midway.org and look for that logo right there. Click on it. And it's first come, first serve. You can get up to 6 tickets. That's the limit on that. Tickets are $30 plus fees. And they'll go fast. It's supersonic. I think the earliest one year it sold out was like in 37, 38 minutes. Every ticket was sold. I mean, people from around the country come in for this event. So it's a fun time.
So why do I need to mark it off my aviation bucket list?
You're sitting there on the flight deck of the USS Midway. You got 2 inflatable screens. You've got the bow filled up with people. You've got the island area filled up with people. And they all share the love for this movie. The environment prior to the movie, like I mentioned, you've got the food, the beverages. And by the way, there is adult beverages. And the signature drink is what we call the jet fuel mule. I cannot give you the ingredients of it, but it will put you in the afterburner. And also this year, I cannot tell you what they're going to do. I've been sworn to secrecy. It's classified, because even if I tell you, it's not that I have to kill you. They would kill me for telling you. There are times when you would like to just be a paying customer and come aboard and not be a volunteer, so you could take advantage of some of these things. There's something really, really cool going to be presented that night. So that's one thing. But when you're sitting there and as it begins to get dark, it's always just, you look behind you and you see the San Diego skyline all lit up.
Yeah.
You look to the south, the Coronado Bridge that's connecting San Diego to Coronado and North Island. Mm-hmm. You're looking to the south. I mean, you can see Mexico from the Midway, so the lights of Tijuana are be to the south of you, across the bay. You got Coronado and you got North Island Air Station, and just a few weeks ago, the Carl Vinson came in. So you see an active Nimitz class carrier right across the bay, CVN 70, and then of course, if you're not sitting indirectly with the island, you can watch airplanes landing at San Diego International, Lindbergh Field, in Loma. So, I mean, where else? I dare you to find a theater like that you've got just that wonderful environment of not only the fans, but also, the location. So that's one reason to put on your bucket list, to see Top Gun on the Midway.
And I just bought my chairs last week, so I am stoked. So what time do I need to get on that website to book my tickets?
The tickets go on sale at noon. So be prepared to go, because if you postpone to say like 4 o'clock, they may not even be there.
Wow.
With this event, you cannot buy tickets at the ticket booth. It's only available online.
Okay.
So 6 tickets per family or per individual.
So let's talk about the top deck.
The top deck, gosh, we've got, like I said, when you come on board that night, you have got 2 inflatable screens, and they're huge. There's not a bad seat in the place. And then, of course, when you're on the deck, you've got the Top Gun merchandise. You've got the various vendors, the DJ, the dancing, the talent that we have, Pete Pettigrew. You can't beat Viper. I mean, he just so personal. And then, of course, Jerome, being a Midway Maverick, California Tom Cruise.
Yep.
That's a showstopper. I mean, he's got everybody around him getting pictures. It's just a great environment. And then you can take a look at all the various aircraft. I mean, we've got from when we walk into the hangar bay, you've got the World War II type aircraft. And then when you walk up onto the flight deck, you've got everything from the Korean War through Persian Gulf. And of course, we do have the F-14 Tomcat. And of course, it's going to be lit up because everybody thinks of Tom Cruise and, Anthony Edwards and Meg Ryan and Kelly McGinnis were the stars of the movie, and Tom Skerritt. No, that's the star, the Tomcat. And just for those that want to know about the Tomcat itself and the Midway is too small to host that plane. The hangar bay could not support because of the tails were too large. The jet blast deflectors didn't fit the 2 engines on the Tomcat. The arresting wires, we had 3 and modern carriers got 4. So we weren't equipped for the Tomcat. However, a couple of Tomcats did land on the Midway in 1982 when we were doing an exercise with the Enterprise. We were in the North Pacific, and the weather conditions kept the Tomcats from returning back to their ship. So they had to land and take off on the Midway. And so that was an experience. So the Tomcat we've got on board have got both the squadrons of VF-114, the Aardvarks, and VF-213, the Black Lions. So it's really cool that we pay homage to that bird on our flight deck.
And let's pay it forward to our friend Doug, because he does a Catapult demonstration there. Let's talk about him really quickly. Will he be there on the 8th by the chance?
If he's there, he'll be a fan. He'll just be attending. The docents are involved in that. And so we're not going to be doing any kind of presentations. The movie speaks for itself.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but we do have during the daytime hours, our docents at the Cats and Trap Talks. And much like what you just heard with Rob, they'll talk about the Catapult, how it operates, how they set up the plane, how they launch it in, 250 feet in 1 to 2 seconds. And also those guys that talk about the traps of how they land an aircraft every 45 seconds during the daytime and 90 seconds at night, hitting 3 wires about the size of a tennis court.
Wow. So what kind of food will be there at the event on the 8th?
Well, it depends on the vendors. We've had Kansas City barbecue in the past.
Ooh,
yeah,
please.
So I don't know if they're going to be here. We're still confirming some of the vendors. But, the hamburgers, hot dogs, pizzas, the soft drinks, and like I said, the adult beverages, everything's served. Some of the kettle corn, I mean, that's my favorite, but I have to watch what I eat these days. So I bring home a bag for Nan because she doesn't go with me.
I vote for the Blairs.
Yeah. So
Kansas City barbecue.
Yes. And that's always a treat. So food and beverages are up there. When you come on board, they will do a security check. And you're not supposed to bring any food or drink items except for bottled water. And that has to be factory
It's
still.
good to know. Yeah.
So when I mentioned about walking up to the hangar bay, from the hangar bay to the flight deck, we do have ADA elevators for those that need that. So if you're concerned about not being able to walk up 44 steps from the hangar bay to the flight deck. Elevators are available.
Okay. Wow.
And we do have an ADA section that's set aside that night for the section for the movie.
Wow, wow, wow. So we're right at 15 minutes. You want to go another 10?
Oh, sure thing. Any questions you may have about?
Yeah, let's talk about the museum. What's the history of the museum?
Well, the museum came into being in 2004. What happened was when the Midway got retired in 1992, it got mothballed up to Bremerton. And we always refer to what took place as the Second Battle of Midway. As you know, the Midway was named after that historic battle that took place in June of 1942.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're named after the Battle of Midway. But the Battle of Midway 2 took place from 1992 to 2004 because we had a group of people that thought it would be great to have a retired aircraft carrier as part of the San Diego landscape, because San Diego is the home of naval aviation.
Yes.
And this year is the 100th anniversary of the aircraft carrier. In fact, the Langley CV-1 came to North Island in 1924. So in 2 more years, we'll have the first aircraft carrier, the Langley, had been stationed at North Island. So we have this 100-year anniversary coming, that we're experiencing this year. But what happened was the Midway retired after 47 years of service. It was a Cold War warrior and went to mothballs, and a group of visionaries said it would be great to have this retired aircraft carrier here in the home of naval aviation. Well, try to convince the city fathers and the businesses around the Embarcadero, the California Coastal Commission, the Port Authority, everything that, try to convince the Navy to provide you an aircraft carrier. So there had to be a sound business plan. And I got to tell you, the San Diego Aircraft Museum Foundation, the beginning fathers and mothers, they worked diligently, thousands of hours of meetings and presenting the plans to get it approved. And after 12 years, we got the okay. And they towed the Midway back in January of 2004. And in June of 2004, opened the doors. And here we are today.
Wow.
And it's great to be able to tell the story of the USS Midway and the 250,000 people that served aboard that ship during its 47 years.
So talk about the galley. How many galleys are on that Midway?
In the galleys, you have got the admiral has his own personal one. The captain has his own personal one. The chief petty officers have theirs. You've got the forward galley for the enlisted, and that was basically for the fast food, the stuff that mom would not approve of.
Yeah.
And also the aft galley, that was your 3 squares, highly nutritional. And then the officers had their wardrooms, and they had a formal one where they had to wear the uniform of the day, and then their working uniforms where they came in the flight suits, which was basically grab and go. And so you had the one that was you're on your best behavior, and the other one you're watching the plat camera in the corner, watching your other pilots coming in for landing. And even though the landing signal officer gave you an official grade, there's something like your own peers going, I saw what you did when you came in.
So let's talk about a few more things about the Midway that you like. What's the best part on your tour that you like to show?
Oh, everywhere you go, you're touching history. Mm-hmm. And I love that. When I was on the last time, I forgot to mention my absolute favorite spot on the Midway. And it is halfway between Hangar Bay 1 and Hangar Bay 2. And it's Operation Frequent Wind. You got that little 01 Bird Dog, little Cessna plane. And it was part of Operation Frequent Wind when they evacuated thousands of people from Saigon in 1975. And the Midway was part of that operation, one of 17 naval vessels that were off the South China Sea. And there's nothing worse than hearing "I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas" played over the Saigon radio in April, because that means you need to get to your extrication points. And the Air Force had provided helicopters to shuttle these people back and forth from Saigon to the amphibious ships and the carriers out in the South China Sea. And on the second day of operation, I'm not going to say that he stole the plane. I'll just say the South Vietnamese major reappropriated the plane. And we did not know at the time until after he had done this that he had been in that, he had been in that plane for like 10,000 hours. Wow. And so he was very experienced. But he put his wife, 18-month-old, and his baby in the back seat, and 4 little kids in the fuselage, and flew out 2 hours just following the helicopters. And when he found the Midway, he dropped a couple of notes. Notes floated away, and the final note said, "Can you move those helicopters? I can land on your runway. I can fly 1 hour more. Please rescue me. Major Boang, wife, and 5 children." And when Larry Chambers, who was the captain at the time, and he retired as an admiral, he and Vern Jumper, who was one of our docents on Fridays, Vern was the air boss.
That's the one I met, right? Vern?
Yes, we met Vern.
Yeah. 90, what is he, 92, 93?
He's 90. We just celebrated his 90th birthday
oh, wow.
3 weeks ago.
Amazing.
But they gave the command to give him a clear deck, and they pushed over millions of dollars worth of helicopters to bring that family of 7 on. And so that's what the Midway stands for. The American spirit of, even though we may have to involve ourselves in hostility, we are still, there's that sense of humanity and that humanitarian spirit that drives us. And so without regard to his rank or his career, he did the right thing. And talk about a great leader. Larry Chambers is, in my books, one of the best. And every once in a while, you get to meet guys like that because he returns to the ship every once in a while.
Oh, really?
So,
wow.
I've had the privilege of meeting Admiral Chambers, retired. I see that you got that back up on the save the date.
Let's do a recap of what we talked about.
Recap. We have got Top Gun movie night, April the 8th on a Friday evening. Doors will open at 6:30, and the movie starts at 8. You can start lining up at 5:30, but bring your own chairs. Be prepared for basically a great block party. Lots of activities taking place, and then at 8 o'clock, that anthem's going to play, and chills would just go up and down your spine as you begin to hear the danger zone. And so tickets go on sale next week, next Wednesday at noon. Mm-hmm. Limit of 6, about $30 a pop. And first come, first serve. Can't get them at the ticket booth. And it's that day only. So, anything else?
Yeah, so what is the website? You want to shout out the website?
Website, midway.org. midway.org. Midway.org.
And who would you like to shout out today?
Oh, gosh, there's so many people. First of all, I got to say, my wife, Nan lets me go and play at the Midway. And as I've said before, she likes to tell our friends she has me enrolled in the senior daycare/fitness center. That's what she calls the ship. So I get to go and play. And the people I work with there at the, well, I shouldn't say work. I have a blast with all the docents and the guest services people and the curatorial staff and the exhibit staff, and the outreach team. I'm on 5 different teams, and it's fun. And then all the others, our full-time staff, the engineering crew, you can't beat it. It's a family. I love just being a part of that.
And so let's tell everybody why they need to mark off the list, and then we could go ahead and get you back in the green room.
Okay. Well, why you need to go, there's nothing like watching this iconic movie, Top Gun, on an aircraft carrier, where it begins and where it ends. Mm-hmm. And you see the lives of those that were involved. I mean, even though it's characters portraying, these are actual people that have flown to protect and to serve our country. And the drama that they have as individuals, the personal baggage that they have, and how they overcome adversity, and how they, well, I could go on and critique the movie, but you know what I'm talking. it's sharing life. And so that's one of the great things about going to that, because you're sharing that with others. So it's just a great experience.
And I just want to announce to my audience that several of us, we're going to have a panel come on at the middle of the month of April, and we're going to talk about our upcoming event. It's a whole weekend Top Gun extravaganza, the middle of May, but we're going to be talking about that the middle of April. And do you have anything else you want to add before I pop you back in the green room?
No, just thanks again for the opportunity to come on the Bucket List Coach web show and share one of my passions. I just love the Midway and love being part of that and being able to talk about what we do.
Well, thank you for sharing your love, and I appreciate you so much. I'm going to put you in the green room, and we'll close out, and I'll see you in a minute.
You got it. Thanks, Cindy. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you, Chappie. Well, let's mark off another San Diego bucket list. Go to the Midway website. The tickets go on sale at 12 noon a week from today. Mark off another amazing aviation bucket list. This is Cindy over at Bucket List Coach Web Show Live. Make sure that you show love and gratitude every single day, and definitely start making the most of this. Shaka, baby.